So thank you all the data miners that we have, including Zabi. I will leave a link in the description for you to help him out. And he data mined some stuff that will be changed to the game probably tomorrow. This is in the files right now and not really implemented, but it will be implemented soon. So the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the Buccaneer. So the Buccaneer is apparently receiving some changes to radar. So if you take a look on the Buccaneer SP2B over here, it has the ARI 5390 radar, and the other ones, the S1 and S2, it's just radar and it doesn't really work. So this will change and it will actually receive the radar, which is pretty cool. Small change, but yeah, very cool. If you are wondering how these radar work, let me show to you. So it is pretty much just a normal, very old stylish, of air-to-air radar, as you see right here. And you can even lock targets if I can get a lock. So yeah, kind of useless on this aircraft, but it is a radar nonetheless, right? Another change is that they're gonna buff the F-16As, right? So the majority of the F-16As, they use the ALR-56M RWR, and now they're gonna have the ALR-69, which is a little bit better, and it is let me even check what aircraft uses this one. I have to check. It's the same as the other one. It's actually for that's weird. Well, anyway, it is going to receive a better RWR now. I actually don't know what aircraft uses that RWR. I have to check, but anyway, it is supposed to be a little bit better than the 56M, which is funny because these aircraft, they do not have too much stuff anyway, right? Going for them, but yeah. Oh, it's the same as the ADF, just checked. So yeah, it is going to be a little bit better. Let me see if the range changes. No, the range is the same. It's just better bands and threats and everything. So it should be better because of that. Okay, so yeah, it's a more broader band and just a better way of detecting targets. So it's kind of a buff. Okay. The MiG-23 is basically every single one. The BM, the M, the MF, the the ML, MLD, MLA, MiG-27s, Su-25s, the T model. All of these aircraft will receive the RITA, so the in the cockpit kind of voice saying that you're gonna crash and everything. So yeah, these aircraft are gonna receive that, which is pretty cool. And now the Copio radars, the one in the MiG-21 Bison and the Su-39, will receive a buff to their ground mode. So before they could only you can see right now that I cannot even change the scale, and they could only detect targets at up to 20-25 kilometers, right? Now it's gonna be 100 kilometers and the scales are gonna change. So yeah, kind of a buff to the ground modes of radars of the Bison and Su-39. A very interesting nerf is gonna happen for the Mirage 2000. So now these radars, the one in the Dash 5, the one in the CS4, the CS5, and the one in the Mirage 4000, they all gonna just detect 8 targets instead of 12 on TWS, which is kind of a significant nerf, not normally. I mean, it's gonna be more of a problem at the early stages of the match, but it's not a big nerf, but it is still a nerf. So these radars will not be able to have as many targets as you want on TWS. 12 was basically all the targets, and now it's only 8, right, in a match. So yeah, kind of interesting. Weird, but interesting at the same time. There are also some buffs basically coming to early models of the Sparrow missile. So we can talk about the AIM-7C, DE, E2, the dogfighting, right? The AIM-7F as well, the Aspide 1A, the PL-11, the RB-71, the Skyflash and the Skyflash dogfights. All of these Sparrows will receive a tiny little change on the drag coefficient multiplier. So I wonder if it's gonna actually change the drag or not. I don't think it will, because they're also increasing the caliber out of it. So maybe the front area, drag area will increase as well. We don't know, but in a general sense, at least the drag coefficient is being taken down by 0.02. So it's it might be a very slight buff, but probably not. Probably not, just because they are increasing the size of the caliber of the missile for the flight model. So you always think, guys, drag coefficient is not the only thing that matters when you're calculating drag. The actual size as well. You know, so a lot of people misinterpret this type of thing when they are thinking about drag. Even when you are talking about cars, for example, a lot of people, oh, this car has a drag coefficient of something or something. The drag coefficient is a big part of the calculation of how much drag this thing will produce in the air, but it's not the only thing, okay? The size of it going through the air is in the calculation as well, right? So yeah, just think about that always when you are talking about drag. And by the way, this change affects basically all sparrows, I think, right? Because the M and the P as well are gonna receive that, okay? So oh, this is not the aircraft that uses this one. I mean, uses, but yeah, the AIM-7P, the AIM-7M, all of them will receive that, which is pretty interesting. The Super Temp Skyflash, so pretty much all, basically all sparrows in the game, right? So this Starstreak missile of the Stormer HVM is also receiving a buff, basically. So the fuselage is now at 0.5 meters. It will be, after the buff, 0.35. It's a very small change, but it should be able to technically do a little bit more damage easily, depending on the aircraft that you're firing. Of course, most aircraft don't have any type of armor, so it doesn't matter too much, but it is something that will help probably the missile feels a little, tiny little bit more efficient. And then we go for kind of a nerf, not kind of actually, a nerf that is coming for many tanks that use the 120 millimeter M256. So all of these guns over here of the Abrams, for example, so the ones in the M1A1 AIM SA, HC, Clickbait, you know, the M1A2, SAP V2, all of these tanks, they use the 120, right? In the two ammunitions that they use, so the let me get the names. Oh, I forgot to the M908 and the M830A1. Both these rounds will receive a nerf. So now how it works is basically that they have a 1.38 kilograms of TNT, both of these, as you see, and now they will receive a new nerfed number of 0.966. So basically like a kind of a 30 to 40% decrease in the amount of explosive mass that these rounds have, okay? This will also decrease the penetration of armor, okay? So the explosive penetration especially, right? So the high explosive fragmentation explosion there, instead of the 24.869, you know, millimeters of penetration, it will be around 18. So it's, you know, it's a pretty significant nerf for these rounds. How they will, you know, be in the game and stuff, I don't know, but if you use these rounds, you probably might as well just think about that, okay? Because it will be nerfed almost to the ground. I'm not gonna say to the ground because these rounds, they're more made for lightly armored vehicles anyway. But yeah, it's a nerf, so it will be harder to do damage with this thing, right? And that's pretty much it, guys. So a nerf for the Abrams, a buff to the Copio Raiders, some other minor things, very small changes, of course. It's not implemented yet. It will come tomorrow probably. So yeah, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see ya.